If China does that, China's going to have big problems.
After appearing to acknowledge the China factor as a major concern, is Trump now trying to block Xi Jinping's reported MANPADs transfer to Iran? Trump is now taking on Xi more directly and appears to be hinting at severing a key oil lifeline linked to Iran, as naval blockade talk gains momentum. By sharing a post about a possible naval blockade, Trump has signaled that China too could face consequences if Iran refuses to bend. Trump shared a news article on his Truth Social platform on April 11th that discussed the option of a naval blockade against Iran, signaling that pressure tactics remain very much part of the administration's public messaging. The article suggested that Trump could impose a naval blockade if Iran failed to accept American demands, presenting the move as a possible next step if diplomacy continued to stall. The Trump card the president holds if Iran won't bend, a naval blockade, was the title of the article that Trump amplified, underscoring the confrontational framing of the proposal. The article argued that such a blockade could choke Iran's economy and also pressure countries aligned with Tehran, including major powers such as China, by targeting trade and energy flows. It also claimed that a previous naval blockade had brought the Venezuelan economy to its knees, using that example to suggest that a similar strategy could severely damage Iran as well. Trump shared the post after CNN reported that China was shipping weapons to Iran, linking the blockade talk to rising concerns in Washington over Beijing's growing role in the conflict. CNN reported, citing US intelligence, that China was preparing to deliver new air defense systems to Iran, a development that would mark a serious escalation in outside support for Tehran. The systems that Xi Jinping's government was said to be preparing to transfer were shoulder-fired anti-air missile systems known as MANPADs, which are particularly dangerous for low-flying aircraft. According to CNN, Beijing planned to move those air defense systems through third-party countries in an effort to disguise their true origin and reduce direct political exposure. On April 11th, Trump was also asked about China's move to aid Iran while the ceasefire was still in effect, placing additional focus on the broader international dimension of the standoff.
I'm getting a lot of reports. They've been meeting for many hours, as you probably have noticed. We'll see what happens. Look, regardless, we win. Regardless what happens, we win. We've totally defeated that country. And so let's see what happens. Maybe they make a deal, maybe they don't. From the standpoint of America, we win. One of the things that's happening is that boats are sailing up and heading out to our country. Big, beautiful tankers, and we're loading them up with oil and gas and everything else. And, pretty beautiful thing to see. We're going to see what happens. We're in very deep negotiations with Iran. We win regardless. We've defeated them militarily. They've dropped a couple of water mines, you call them water mines, in the boat. We've defeated all of their water boats too. Their Navy has gone 158 ships. They have 28 water droppers, mine droppers they call them. All of them are sunk. They probably have a couple of mines in the water. We have mine sweepers out there. We're sweeping the strait. In addition to that, we're negotiating. Whether we make a deal or not makes no difference to me. And the reason is because we've won. Whether you listen to the fake news or not, it's amazing. Their credibility is down to 13%. The media credibility down to 13%. Think of it. We defeated their Navy. We defeated their Air Force. We defeated their anti-aircraft. We defeated their radar. We defeated their leaders. Their leaders are all dead. And now all we do is we'll open up the strait even though we don't use it, because we have a lot of other countries in the world that do use it that are either afraid or weak or cheap. I don't know what it is, but we were not helped by NATO, that I can tell you. How do you know that? Why do you say that? Why do you say that? You don't know anything. Who are you with? Who are you with? ABC? Well, that's fake news. Let me just tell you. We win, no matter what. We've defeated their military. They have no Navy. 158 ships are underwater, undersea. All of their minesweepers, and all of their, they call them mine droppers. Can you imagine? A country has 28 mine droppers. You think that's nice? With all of that being said, they're all defeated, by the way. They're all at the bottom of the sea. Now, with all of that, they have no Navy. They have no radar. They have no air force. Their leaders are all dead. With Khomeini is gone. For many years he ruled. He's gone. With all of that, let's see what happens. But from my standpoint, I don't care. Well, if China does that, China's going to have big problems, okay?
Trump's remarks came as US-Iran talks in Islamabad failed to produce an agreement on April 11th, adding to the sense that both diplomacy and deterrence were under visible strain. Trump's deputy, J.D. Vance, then left Pakistan empty-handed after the talks ended without a deal, while Iranian media and officials blamed the United States for the failure of the negotiations.
Well, good morning, everybody. And let me say a couple of notes of appreciation. First of all, to the Prime Minister of Pakistan and to Field Marshal Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings of the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement. We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms. Questions?
Sir, Nick Robertson from CNN. Precisely what have they rejected here? Can you help us understand it a little bit?
Well, I won't go into all the details because I don't want to negotiate in public after we've negotiated for 21 hours in private. But the simple fact is that we need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon, and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've tried to achieve through these negotiations. Again, their nuclear program, such as it is, the enrichment facilities that they had before, they've been destroyed. But the simple question is, do we see a fundamental commitment of will for the Iranians not to develop a nuclear weapon, not just now, not just 2 years from now, but for the long term? We haven't seen that yet. We hope that we will. Jen?
Was there a framework on anything? And also, did the Iranian frozen assets come up? And did you reach any conclusions on those frozen assets?
We talked about all those issues, Jen, and we talked about a number of issues beyond that. And so certainly those things came up. But again, we just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible. We were quite accommodating. The president told us, you need to come here in good faith and make your best effort to get a deal. We did that. And unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. Preston.
Mr. Vice President, how often did you communicate with President Trump throughout the negotiations? There were reports that there were multiple rounds, where there were breaks in between negotiations. How often did you communicate with the president throughout those rounds, and what was he saying as you were going through these negotiations that you said fell short?
Yeah, obviously we were talking to the president consistently. I don't know how many times we talked to him, a half dozen times, a dozen times over the past 21 hours. We obviously also talked to Admiral Cooper, to Pete, to Marco, to the entire national security team. We talked to Scott Bessent a number of times. So look, we were constantly in communication with the team because we were negotiating in good faith. And we leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.